A bit sad seeing a fully wrapped car in the garage. I wish I was outside driving it, especially since this is the last week of sunny weather before winter starts. And right now I'd give almost anything to drive this car on a back road. Still, I can't bring myself to accept the imperfections this car has. I feel crazy wanting to rip off the wrap for imperfections as small as these, but I'd be lying if I said they didn't bother me. The hood absolutely covered in speckles, and a fender that I would have to use super glue on to keep down. And I mean, if I only fix these issues, then I should still have time to drive this car in nice weather, so long as I don't find anything else that bothers me this much. How long could this really take? Well, there's definitely no going back now. And there's no real question as to why these two panels were having issues. The base coat's completely oxidized. No wonder it looks so much worse than the rest of the car, even though the more I look at it, the more I'm noticing. No. I need to focus on issues that this car actually has, even the ones that aren't wrap related at all. This is just a cosmetic thing. It's not like this car doesn't need maintenance too. I've gone this far though, so I might as well redo these two panels and see if that makes any improvement. But to do that, I'll need to sand it way further than I did before, down to the original primer, which I'll then scuff up and spray with new primer. In other words, at least one of the final nice days of the year is going to be spent doing this. Kinda reminds me of how this whole project started. After the entire day, the primer was finally in place, and to give it the best chance of not lifting, I let it cure for about 2 days. With the weather and limited materials, I really just wanted to play it safe. After all of that waiting, I was finally ready to sand yet again. Wet sanding. Just can't get enough of it. Given how these turned out before though, I want to make sure that these are done right. So in an already time-consuming process, I took my time even more. But eventually, I figured it was time to see if the fender would stick. So I gave it a try. And to my surprise, I think I managed a new best panel ever. The nuclear option of spraying a new surface seemed to have worked rather well. All of the edges stuck perfectly, nothing seemed like it was going to lift, and best of all, the speckling issue was completely absent. This is a good sign, but it doesn't mean I'm not still nervous about the hood. I've really only got enough wrap left over to give it one real attempt. No pressure. I was paranoid that the backing paper would have dust on it as well, so I basically took a tack cloth and went section by section, after already doing the entire hood with it, and made sure that there really was no dust underneath. And this, surprisingly, worked wonderfully. So did the new surface I made. It's not perfect, and I do worry that it's going to lift a bit in the middle ridge, but given what it looked like before, I think I might take a small issue like that over the speckling on the entire thing. That, thankfully, is completely absent. Pretty pretty surreal to finally start being happy about how this thing looks. It does kinda suck that now that this issue has been fixed, other imperfections seem more glaring, and it seems like that's always gonna happen. Besides, on the grand scheme of things, there's actual issues that this car has too. An exhaust rattling from a bad gasket, a winter tire change trapped in the middle, not to mention it needs an oil change and completely reassembled. Guess I might as well start by putting the trim back on. If I'm being nitpicky, I could probably repaint all of the trim, fix the black, make it less oxidized, then the car would have one less thing I have to do in the future. But I can always do that. There will be plenty of days where I can take an afternoon and pop trim off to paint it, but the same can't be said for the final week of nice weather. And right now, it's more like today and tomorrow before the freeze hits. I'm struggling to convince myself that it's worth passing up a day like this for a small cosmetic issue I could fix later. It's been months since I've driven this car at this point, and I've missed it so much that I've been looking at other cars of a similar era. Gotta scratch the itch somehow. With the car fully reassembled, I jacked up the rear and started to look into the exhaust issue. It rattles horrendously on cold starts, but once it's warm and the metal starts to expand a bit, it's quite a bit better. And from what I remember when I installed the exhaust, the gaskets, or the little rings, weren't in the best condition. But as soon as I started messing with this, I realized the issue is a little bit more extensive. The little housing that the ring slots into shouldn't be moving on the cat side. It should be welded on. Otherwise, it's not clamping anything and the exhaust is just going to rattle inside of it. So the real fix for this just simply can't happen today. I'll need to replace the whole cat section, which is rusted out, and I don't imagine that would be the easiest to source. Maybe I should just boost it and not have to worry about that. Not a today project, but it's amazing what you think of when you spend months trying to remember how a car drives. And as much as I'd like to toss on summer tires for a final back road romp, I really don't want to have to switch them all again immediately afterwards. Plus, the winter wheels are cooler anyways. The final two things I need to do are also best done with the car in the air: an oil change and putting on the crappy old splitter, making the car survive even longer and preserving the image of it I have in my head. Simple jobs, at least. And for now, in case the front lip needs to come off later, I'm just going to use zip ties again. They held it just fine. Been a while, E30. Do you still remember how to start? Well, the rattle definitely is still here. Glad I remembered that much at least. Kinda wild to hear the car run after so long. I topped off the oil, shut the hood, and I hopped back in. I didn't really know why, but I wanted to. In my head, all I can think of are issues that still need fixed. The fact I lost the washer fluid nozzles, the fact that the hood, despite everything I did, still has imperfections, or the fact that I can't stop thinking of things that I want to change about this car. Right now, it feels like there's more wrong than there is right, and it feels like the last thing I should be doing is taking it out of here. What if, for just a little bit, I forgot about all of that though? Let those issues just exist. And so it happened. The time passed. The frost came, and with it brought the beginning of a new season, one filled with beautiful yet frigid mornings. And the E30 was there for every single one of them, issues and all. The garage found its way back to how it was before, though I think some part of it'll always remember what happened to the E30 in here. Time never stops though, and a garage is always going to find something to fill it. And in this case, it was getting ready for a completely new project. All of the wrap issues are never going to really go away, but the more time that started to pass, the less they began to bother me. I stopped questioning if they all even needed fixing, and started questioning if those imperfections kind of make this car what it is. It sure wouldn't be the last time I found myself with a roll of PPF, and it definitely wouldn't be the last time the E30 had issues. If it was, that just wouldn't be realistic. I just wish I had a little more than one day to enjoy it. But it wouldn't be a true project car if that was the case.
God damn it.
At least it looks good on the tow truck. For a long time, I wanted the wrap to turn out perfect, but I failed to realize what this car was to me. It's not a show car, and right now it's not even running and driving. But what it is good enough. Driving the car for the first time with a new wrap on the final nice day of the year. That is good enough. And moments like those are the ones you remember. There's always more time to fix the little things later. Times like those, though, are never guaranteed again. Might as well enjoy them when you have the chance. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, consider dropping a like and subscribing for more. That's the best way you can help support me and my content. Either way, I'll see you guys in the next episode. Thank you again. Have a wonderful day.